All right. So, the other day you had mentioned on your diaries uh,
Yeah.
how Trip Radar is pretty much taking over,
Yeah.
and you're getting what 90% Trip Radar requests
Mhm.
versus a few
Literally.
of the ride requests coming in.
Yeah.
So I thought this would be a good time to kind of break that down, dissect it a little bit, and
Yeah.
then see, is this kind of where Uber's going? Are they going to kind of push that narrative where they're going to do Trip Radar, and then they're just going to get rid of the ping requests screen altogether? They're just going to have this free for all on Trip Radar.
Yeah. I wanted to actually prove it. So on last Saturday, I did a video, screen recording basically of like 9 minutes, Chris. And it's on the channel. It's got like 40 some thousand views in like 2 days or less. Please go check it out to see if you guys can confirm. What I've started seeing in LA, I'm not getting pings, like individual pings anymore. I'm getting pretty much 80 to 90% of my trips that I see are requests on Trip Radar. You know, that annoying nonstop, non-fucking stop, right?
Mhm.
Unsafe, all that stuff. And I even tweeted it out, and a lot of people agreed that Trip Radar is where all trips go to die. But they don't die, unfortunately. They keep presenting it to you. They keep shoving it in your face, right? To create some FOMO. But the video was about, is Uber changing the algo? Are they putting all trips basically, or majority, 80, 90% of them on Trip Radar to create this FOMO with the desperados out there, like hitting whack-a-mole, right? And the video came out so perfect that I got two single pings, garbage as they were, everything else for 9 minutes. And there was ping after ping. I mean, there was Trip Radar after Trip Radar, multiple pages, Chris.
Yep.
It was 90% Trip Radar. And I'm going like, what the F? What are you guys doing? You're creating this perfect auction now? Because there are so many and the funny thing is, it would show up on Trip Radar like a garbage trip that I wouldn't even think of doing it. Snapped up. Snapped up. I'm going like,
Mhm.
holy shit. Is this what they're doing now? Are you guys seeing that in your city? Um,
Yep.
I don't know.
Well, honestly, when you mentioned that and saying that, that's where my mind is going. It's like, okay, well, what's the next evolution that they can do? Because you're going to have people who are going to say, no, this isn't worth my time when it comes to a ride request. I'm not going to take it. But when you get the ants and the people who are, just taking the crap rides and not knowing their worth, they're the ones who are just grabbing these ones and, oh, I got one, good.
Yeah.
And I'd rather be doing having a butt in the seat or on the way to pick somebody up than just sitting here. And instead, you should be doing something like that. But the whole thing is that where they're going? So then what they can essentially do is lower that bar as a vast amount of drivers that are in the particular area, and lower that bar where they can pay drivers even less by squeezing the pay because they know some jackass is going to take it, versus when it comes to the opposite side where the passenger is going to be at the higher rate. So now they have even more where they can be like, oh, we're going to pay you $3.82 for this ride. We're charging the passenger now $12 for that ride.
Yeah, I mean, I think Trip Radar is the new game now. And I tweeted it. A lot of people chimed in and said a couple of them made sense. Like they said, when there's a lot of drivers out, right? And it was maybe
Mhm.
like 9:30 Saturday morning, and there are a lot of drivers, not enough demand, they're putting everything on Trip Radar. When there's a lot of demand and not enough drivers, then they're pinging you, right? It makes sense, which I'm going to test. But if that's what they're doing, the other thing with the Trip Radar, Chris, is that, okay, I'm driving, you present me with that Trip Radar. I think over 10 miles or 20 miles, they will not present you with Trip Radar. But anytime you're under it or you're about to drop off, the Trip Radar is popping. So even if you click match, right, that black box, wet match, then you have the scroll for like sometimes 30 seconds. And then it will,
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times, it will say, oh, you didn't get the match. Well, for those
Mhm.
30 seconds, my eyes are off the road. I'm watching if I'm going to get that trip or not, right? That's more dangerous than anything else. So as unsafe as Trip Radar is, I think they made it more unsafe now by putting everything on Trip Radar. I'm not like,
Yep.
wow, that's bullshit. But yeah, scroll of
Yeah.
death,
So
exactly.
Honestly, what they should do is if you hit match and then for that time until it hits, then say something like accepted or ride accepted or not matched or something like that. So then you don't have to worry about looking at the friggin' phone. You could pay attention to the road, and then that way you hear audible what it is. So, oh, it didn't come through. Oh, it did come through. Okay. And then it goes right to the GPS and lets you know where to go.
Well,
just those simple things
this
make it
makes
easier,
sense, but look, this obviously we said this, I don't know how many million times we said that already. Do it on every trip. As soon as I do this before the even passenger gets in the car.
Yeah.
On my way to pick up, I go up last trip because that's how my autopilot works, right? And I'm going like, and then some people said on Twitter, I love Trip Radar. I'm like, knock yourself out. But
I mean, if it works for you and you're getting the trips that are coming in that are worth it. I mean, sometimes there are. There definitely are.
Yeah,
but the thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the next evolution where they're like, oh, you know what? We're going to get rid of ride requests and we're going to go straight to Trip Radar. So you don't need to worry about it. And they're going to spin it a miraculous way where it's going to be beneficial for drivers. And in reality, all it is going to be some sort of pay cut because they know some dummy is going to take it and accept it.
I'm telling you, bro,
and then it's going to further the difference between what the passenger paid versus what the rider or what the driver makes. And that's where their profitability is. That's only where their profitability is. Beyond that, they're up shit's creek without a paddle.
And last week we talked about this. Remember last week, and we actually made fun of it. Last week was safe driving week.
Yeah.
Safe driving week and Trip Radar kind of don't go together. You know what I'm saying? It's like he goes, I'm telling you, the colors and the sounds Uber behavioral scientists Uber are picking are so horrible now. I mean, if we're going to gamify, if we're going to play the game,
well. Remember,
at least present me with something palatable, Uber. Give me, instead of gray, give me red, green, all these colors. And instead of this, I'm like, holy shit. Stop.
Yeah, but you know why? You know why they do it that way?
It really takes the crap out of me.
Oh, shit. I got to look at my phone. Ooh, an alert. Ooh, I got a possible ring or a ride.
Pavlov's dog, baby.
The problem is, the problem is if you got to scroll. So if you got to scroll through a bunch of them, that's a problem, especially if you're driving.
Yeah, but to me, it's like, look, the it's in a cascading stacked order. If you don't scroll, you're not going to see the one behind it, and your eyes off the road. You're doing this, and then I mean,
and not only that, what was it? Yeah, last week we also showed how the Trip Radar is showing two different prices for two different rides that are going the same pickup and same drop off. So you really got to pay attention to all that. And you can't just go for like the highest price that you see. I know everybody does. Most people are doing that. They're not looking at all of the information, because if they looked at all the information, that ride's going to be gone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we've been saying this since Trip Radar showed up. Trips are where trips go to die. The speed of these things getting snapped up to me was eye-opening. It wouldn't last, like, even if I was quick enough and I like one and I clicked on one, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get it after the scroll of death over there. So I was like, who is taking these trips? It would be like 3 miles pickup, 6 mile drive, 9 miles, half hour, $9. I'm all like, how? Why? But anyway, yeah, that's Trip Radar. Go watch that video. Make it more popular, please.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was pretty interesting to see all that. So
I like Lyft Trip Radar a lot more than Uber's Trip Radar by far. 100%. So
well, either way, I think I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be their next evolution. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, everything on Trip Radar?
Yep.
Fuck. But then now you have to watch. You have to use that 10 seconds really, really carefully now, because I mean, if they're going to put everything on Trip Radar, then the game is over. I mean,
no, that's what they'll say. Hey, you know, drivers were complaining that 10 seconds was too short. So we're getting rid of ride requests altogether, and we're going to go right to trip radar.
Something
So
like
you can do that. You can look as long as you need to, but remember, there's other drivers that are looking too. So if you're not fast enough, you're not going to get it. So that 10-second window really becomes 2 seconds because you got 5 other drivers who are looking at the same ride. You know how that's
you just
Uber's
gave him an idea. You know that, right?
I patent pending,
Yeah,
copyrighted.
and
I will
before when trip radar,
I will accept $1 on every single trip that goes through trip radar. Then at that point, Uber.
Wishful thinking on that one. And before, lastly, on this, when trip radar first showed up, on the upper right hand corner, there would be a number. Like you would know 4 other drivers are looking at this, or 8 other drivers. There is so much desperation and FOMO going on or being created with this that they got rid of the number now. There is like a blue little dot. That means other drivers are looking at it. So be quick trigger. I'm going like, bro, these are all shit. What am I doing?
Yep.
Oh,
when
lastly,
all they had to do was extend the ride request from 10 seconds to 20 seconds, and everybody would be much happier.
Actually, I'm going to do a video on this, but I'll tell you what the video is about. So on that day, I had set my destination filter, okay, from Mid-City, Beverly Hills area to my house in Granada Hills, all right? You know how many trip radar trips showed up? That was almost a bullseye.
Oh,
But they didn't ping me with it. Bro, I have my DF set up. You have the trip that's taking me home. Ping me with the trip. I have my DF set up. No, they showed it on trip radar. I saw it. I'm like, fuck, yep, I want it. It was gone. Somebody else took it. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
I have my DF set up. I want to go there. I'm going to accept that trip. I don't care how much it is because it doesn't matter. Ping me with it, Uber, as opposed to showing it on trip radar and some other jackass gets it. And then now I'm stuck where I'm stuck, right? So that's going
wait
to be
until the Instacart bot is able to switch over to Uber when it comes to the trip radar, because you know that'll happen.
Yeah, I you know, we should create some sort of bot that goes through trip radar or something. Isn't the Maximo? Doesn't it do that? I don't know. So
I think it goes through trip radar, but I don't think it. I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, that's the only way that you're going to be able to get the rides that you would like at that point. Because otherwise, you know, when a bot comes out, that is going to be grabbing the top rides, and it's just going to leave the dog shit pile for the rest. You know, that's what's going to happen.
Dog shit pile was getting picked up, sir. That's all I know.
Well, and it's going to be the dog shit.
Dog shit.
I remember going to step 2. We're going to the next step pile of shit.
Well, no, I don't know. Anyway, so go watch that video. It's on under Sergio's diaries. Is Uber changing the algorithm? I mean, look, man, I've been experiencing it for a couple of months. Then I'm going like, let me test this thing, and then sure enough, trip radar, everything. It were like 40, 50 trips on trip radar, and I got pinged with 2 in literally like 10 minutes or 12 minutes of the video. 2.
Yeah, whatever. It's crazy. So it's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen there, but we'll see what happens. So stay tuned for that, because it's getting a little crazy out there. I mean, before you would get trip radar every once in a while when it first started coming, and be like, oh, okay, this ain't too bad. Now it's like ding 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 ding. Oh, thanks.
Or you know, like Dara said, oh, algorithm is going to adjust price trips correctly. That means nothing is getting priced correctly. On the first show, it's all getting rejected and it's all going on trip radar. Everything's going on trip radar, or it's intentional. It's being put on trip radar. Yeah, one or the other.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you'll be notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.